Hello dear sirs and madams, and welcome to another video. Yes dear viewers, we're still going, and whether you're a first time viewer or have been here for the long haul, I thank you for your interest and viewership in my silly channel. Today we'll be looking at a game named Valfaris. Valfaris is a two-dimensional run and gun action game developed by Steel Mantis and published by Big Sugar. This is the same developer that brought us Slain, Back from Hell, which is a game I've enjoyed muchly. It was released on the 10th of October 2019. The game does support keyboard and mouse, but I played it through with my trusty Xbox 360 controller. Dear voice from the nether realms of my mind, are you not going to berate my playing and talking of yet another run and gun game? I expected no less.
Well, yes, of course, this is yet another blooming rum and gun game, but we can't keep using the same old bit for every game you look at. We're holding our tongue for now, but if we see another 274 more games, we will definitely be speaking up about it.
Well, I have to say, I'm surprised and happy that all the parts of the lunacy that is my consciousness are on the same page. So all that is left to talk is of the game, and talk we shall. Valfaris has a wonderful start menu. You can begin should you wish to begin. There's options should you need some options, and you can look at the sound, controls, display, language, tutorial tips on and off and back. And you can add Valfaris Mechatherium to Steam wishlist, because why not? And then you can quit. As mentioned, Valfaris is a two-dimensional run and gun game and is metal as can be. You take on the role of Therion, a galactic warrior, rocking the metalness that has returned to his home to see it devolved into chaos. He embarks on a crusade to battle through the fortress of Valfaris, put an end to the tide of madness that has driven through it. Throughout the game, he'll come across a host of maddening creatures, both large and small, that must be destroyed so that we can progress further and really get to the bottom of what's going on. The pixel art in this game is so very dark, very gothic, and very graphic. It has that blackened, dark metal edge to every detail, from the terrain to the bosses and Therion himself. Every part of the aesthetic is metal as F. Visuals are full of gore and graphic detail, from firing ranged weapons up to personal melee combat. Everything is dripping with blood and violence. Impacts cause great sways of blood and gore, monsters are gruesome and bosses fearsome and hellish. If you like the aesthetic of Slain, a gory and explicit violent art style, then you'll enjoy this, no doubt. The music, as you can probably guess, is also of a heavy metal disposition. There are thumping tracks that fit perfectly with the death and destruction that is occurring on screen as the player rips through any baddie in sight with sweet abandon. The combination of the epic metal and grim dark gruesome art style creates a great atmosphere. The gameplay is very much in the ilk of an action platformer. You traverse each level, avoiding hazards and dishing up pain to those who dare stand before you. There is platforming and climbing along with other obstacles that must be traversed with accurate timing and precision, which can take a lot of practice to master. Most levels begin at the beginning, which is always a good place to start, I feel. You land in your ship and immediately enter into combat with some baddies. You must then proceed through the level in search of some answers. There are many introductions to be had, and your blade and pistol are most happy to meeting the acquaintance of any evildoer within sight. There is a host of weaponry that Therion can seek out and collect, adding them to his armory. These range from rocket launchers, beam guns, lasers, machine guns, and even one that shoots out arms to slap up some foes. In the melee position, there features a whip, axe, swords, and even a weird leg. I spent most of my time using the bastard sword. I have literally a name and description, though the others are also viable. Throughout your journey through the fortress, laying waste to foes left and right, you will come across a special currency known as blood metal. These items are used to upgrade our weapons. Each weapon has 3 levels of upgrade. The first 2 levels require just a number of blood metals, with the third and final upgrade requiring a rare blood of Valfaris, which can be obtained from bosses and some special mobs and locations. In one playthrough at least, I don't believe it's possible to max out on all weapons, so I'd recommend focusing on the ones you enjoy the most. The NPCs, non-playable characters, are varied and vivid in their depiction. From strange creatures, plants and beasts to more familiar humanoids with guns and other weaponry. The bosses themselves are just as varied, keeping the player on their toes as what other gruesome encounter to expect coming up before them. Each level is divided into sections, at the end of which is a save point. These save points become a beacon of hope as you progress. Once you die, you are resurrected at the last save point you interacted with. If you die before reaching the next save point, it can be demoralizing, but when you have been fighting your way across the landscapes for a good period with nothing in sight, seeing that sweet save point on screen thrusts you forward in that last burst of energy, knowing you will shortly have some respite. Just don't die before getting there. This leads nicely onto the issue of difficulty. The game is hard, dear sirs and madams. Perhaps I may not be the best action platformer in the world, growing up on beat-em-ups and the Settlers, but I feel as though I was at the very edge of my capabilities while playing this game. I did manage to complete it, a feat I must achieve should I wish to make a video about it, but it took a lot of time and concentration. At times I was unsure how I might actually defeat certain bosses. Pattern learning is definitely the way to defeat them, and patience, dear viewers, lots of patience. On the flip side of the difficulty and tear-inducing misery and sorrow as you die for the 100th time on the stupid boss, there is some joy. Joy at finally overcoming that blessed beast you've been fighting for most of the evening. Overcoming the seemingly invincible end-level boss and standing tall, rocking out is such a great feeling. You have to keep at it until that bugger keels over. There is a good mix of platforming and combat, switching up the two often enough not to feel like too much of a slog. There are some points where the anxiety is drawn out seemingly at its most severe, as some particular stretch of traversal seems to never end. But on the whole, it is generally well paced. There is some relief at times with the sporadic use of a vehicle which breaks up the gameplay nicely and allows you to thump and smash a bit more. So, in summary, what are my thoughts on this game? I would say it's a very good action platformer with some running and gunning. It exhibits graphic and gory pixel art that is very well crafted, a thumping soundtrack, and exciting and involving action. With all this said, as mentioned earlier, this game is hard. Really hard. If you're looking for a relatively casual and relaxing evening, then I would look elsewhere. I enjoyed my time with Valfaris, but there were times I felt distraught at my failure to complete a certain level or defeat a certain boss. If you're the sort of gamer that is looking for a challenge and you like the style of it, then I would certainly recommend Valfaris. But if you're looking for a more calm and a relaxed session of gaming, then I would perhaps give this one a miss, or if you're intrigued enough to wait for it to go on sale. And there we have it, dear viewers of mine, another video done. It only feels like the other day that I posted my first video, and here we are in the double digits, done and dusted. Again, I thank you for your viewership. Each view, thumbs up, comment and subscription really mean a lot to this old dwarf's heart. My book, as always, is still available on Amazon right now. There is a link in the description below and on my main channel page. Now as I pull close the doors to this ancient dwarven hold, I bid you thank you and goodbye.